Well, I think American Library Association plays a very important role in representing the libraries in the United States, and also having a role as the professional association for many, many librarians. We have over 65,000 members in the American Library Association, and we're the largest and the oldest association in the world. So we take our role very seriously in terms of supporting the American libraries and also supporting our librarians. We have quite a few international librarians as members of the American Library Association also. Well, I think there's quite a few qualities, but the characteristics that I would be looking for is for somebody who has very good communication skills, needs somebody who's going to be very innovative and creative. As I mentioned, I like them to ask the questions, what if we did this or that? I think that they need to have a good grasp of the activities and the responsibilities, whether they're reference librarians or information technology people, or whether they're catalogers. I also think that they need to be culturally competent, because in the United States, 1/3 of our population are people from a different ethnicity or different race than the majority of the people in the United States. So those are some of the characteristics. I would also say that they need to understand the concepts of community outreach. And by that, I don't just mean public libraries, but I also mean academic libraries. In other words, how do we get the people who don't use the libraries to use our libraries? So those are just some of the few characteristics that I see, the American libraries having to possess to be very good librarians. Well, I think when they go to library school, what they have to have is they have to have the theoretical foundations of our profession. In other words, they have to have the underpinnings about what library and information science is about. And I think that's what they get in library schools. And then they can specialize if they want. They can take the courses. If they want to work in an academic library, they take the appropriate coursework. Or if they want to work in a public library, they take the appropriate coursework. But I think the library education has to provide them that theoretical foundation of what our profession is all about. When they get into the libraries, as a newly graduated student, we can train them to the specifics of doing reference work in an academic library or doing information literacy in an academic library. So I think library education has to provide the foundation of our profession. Some of the very basics about why it's important that we provide services to communities, however we might define those communities. It's real evident that things are changing all the time, both in terms of, you said, new clients, new customers, new users, and also the technology drives a lot of what we're doing. So I think associations like the American Library Association, like the state associations within the United States, they play a very key role in helping librarians with their professional development. They provide annual conferences where they can attend programs. They provide pre-conferences. They provide workshops, and I think it's very important for the librarians to invest the time and possibly the money to be able to go to these kinds of programs. So things are changing so much that they really have to keep abreast of what's going on. And the best way to do it is by being involved in some kind of an organization that provides those continuing education opportunities. Well, I don't like to look at it as a difficulty. I think it's a challenge, and what's really interesting is that the users expect to have access to the new technologies. They expect to be able to to go into a database or to have those databases available to them. They expect to have free computers available to them. They expect to be able to access the internet on those computers. So the expectations of our users are such that we don't have a choice. We have to make sure that we are always a step ahead of the services that we provide, or that we should provide in terms of the technology and the changes. And I think that's what's exciting about our profession, is that just about the time you think you know it, then the technology changes. And so it keeps, it keeps us alive, it keeps us passionate about what we have to do. It keeps us understanding that we have to continue to develop professionally. And I think that's exciting. It's a wonderful association. It is an affiliate of the American Library Association. And the idea was the colleagues of mine who founded it in the 70s, in the early 70s, wanted to have an association that would be made up of not only Latinos, but of other people who are very serious and very interested in providing services to our Spanish-speaking communities in the United States. And so it's a very collegial group. It's when there's any issues about Latino librarianship or serving Latinos, people know to come to La Reforma and to get advice. We have a wonderful listserv, and they'll ask questions about some way to serve their Latino community because they've never done it before, and they do it over the internet, and then a lot of people say, well, try this or try that. So it's a very responsive organization. We are very serious about our role in trying to provide services to the Latino or the Spanish-speaking communities all throughout the United States and Puerto Rico. I don't want to come across as saying that what we do in the United States is better than what anybody else does anywhere else in the world. But I do think that we've been very successful as an association in helping our librarians to become more effective librarians, to get the training opportunities to be better librarians. I think what's really important, I mentioned it this afternoon, is that no matter where you go, whether it's in Spain or in the United States, is that we all have the passion to want to help our users, to serve our communities, to be able to make them lifelong learners. And I think those are comparisons that are very similar. As I visit with some of my colleagues here in Madrid, you can hear the passion that they have in terms of serving their communities, whether it's in a special library or a public library or academic library. So I think those are the similarities. I think we have a very strong association, the American Library Association, and I think that the librarians have developed, I think, have the opportunity to develop in that capacity. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the associations here. When Nuria talked today, she talked about 61 little associations or organizations within the country of Spain. That's a lot. But I think we can learn from each other. I don't think that the United States has, I don't think we are the only ones that can share information and share the things that we do well. I think we could learn from librarians in Spain in terms of what they do very well also.
Well, that's good. I don't know if you want to add something else to this interview.
Well, I just want to say that I'm very excited to be here. It's my first time to be in Madrid, and I have to say that I really enjoyed the collegiality that I've had with my colleagues here throughout the days that I've been here, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to have this interview also.